y'all. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late, but got off work a little late. So we had to push it back a little bit. Come on in, y'all. I'm going to share, and while I'm sharing, I want you guys to share. So press that share button, like and subscribe if you haven't already. But share so people we know I am on because we're gonna talk, we're gonna have a conversation, y'all. So here we go. So while I'm sharing, you guys share. Um, hey mom, love you. All right, I think I'm ready, guys. If you guys are watching the replay, hey, I'm sorry that I am a little bit uh paused. I'm just trying to make sure that I have everybody that can see it. Y'all know I switched from doing it on YouTube and just doing it on um, Facebook. I mean, vice versa. I stopped doing it on Facebook and I'm just doing it on YouTube. Okay, so I know you guys are probably like, what is this girl? What is this crazy girl talking about? Why is she talking about will you be my Valentine? Well, y'all had to know it wasn't that simple, right? Y'all had to know that it wasn't just about would you be my Valentine? First of all, I'm too prideful to talk about asking somebody to be my Valentine. Oh, mom, you be my Valentine. Thank you. I love you. I'm too prideful to ask anybody to be my Valentine. Just kidding. Not really. But it's not about that. It's actually more of a rhetorical question, right? It's a more of a rhetorical question. And that's why I wanted to put it up there. Wanted to catch somebody's attention. So to see if they were kind of peeping what I was trying to say here. But Valentine's Day is on the 14th, which is Monday. First of all, okay, let's see. I'm just saying, y'all know I locked my hair this year and I love my locks. And these are my cool two strand twists, right? They are so cool. I love them. But y'all know when y'all had that one piece of hair that just do what it want. Like, I need you to lay down. Look, I need you to chill out. Like, you'll start a little piece. Okay. I know I'm distracted, but you see that it just make you feel like I don't know what to do. But anyway, but like I said, it's one of those things where Valentine's Day is coming up on Monday. And y'all know on Tuesday we talked about loneliness in the holidays, right? And I was talking about Valentine's Day coming up, and a lot of it really does highlight the insecurities a lot of people have about being alone. And this is something people don't talk about because they think, oh, I shouldn't feel like that. But see, I'm about being real. Stop pretending like you don't feel this way when it really is how you feel. No, you don't have to announce it everywhere. You don't have to tell everybody you feel that way. But let's just be honest. This is the purpose of these conversations. Let me back up. Anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Paris Johnson, and I am Paris from Conversations with Paris. This is a platform where we talk about mental health issues and concerns, and we talk about all topics because I believe everything can route back to your mental health. And the goal here is to break the stigma about mental health because we're in 2022, and if we can't talk about being healthy in every stage of our life, then what are we doing, right? So that's the whole point here. And on Tuesday, I talked about the quiet effects of loneliness. How many people suffer from loneliness in silence and won't really be honest about the feelings they have about it, and therefore suffer in silence, right? And so I talked about how loneliness was actually a normal occurrence on a very infrequent occasion. It's supposed to be temporary. We all are going to feel lonely from time to time. You can be married, you can have a family of 30 people in it, you could be around people every point of your life and still be emotionally isolated or feel that way from time to time. It is unavoidable. I'm just being honest, right? So it's not anything wrong with necessarily feeling lonely from time to time. What is a problem if that's how you feel most of the time, right? We have to figure out what that's about. But more importantly, we talked about what that looks like and what to do when these type of holidays come up. And even if you never talk to anybody about how you feel, what can we do to deal with that? So we talked about that on Tuesday. And so if you guys, well, if you're on YouTube, you saw I had a little bit of a subtitle, and my subtitle was, what do you do? Valentine's Day, I'm sorry. Valentine, will you be my Valentine? And basically a conversation about the most important relationship that you need to maintain. And I know somebody was probably thinking, the most important relationship you need to learn to maintain. And you probably was like, well, you think that's a spousal relationship and or a significant other romantic relationship. So somebody could take it as that. She's talking about Valentine's Day. Of course, that's what she's talking about, right? And then somebody could go a little bit like, they're like, oh, parents does angles. So maybe she's talking about you have kids, those people, most important people in your life. So of course, those would be the people that you are talking about, right, parents? Or, if you want to do vice versa, your parents, right? Of course, that's who you're talking about, right? That type of like family love, right? And then some people say, well, what if you don't have like kids or stuff? Your parents do not allow. What about your friends? Of course, that's what you're talking about, parents, right? You're talking about your friends. Those are relationships you can keep. Yeah, I might have, have people go out and have a Valentine's Day or whatever, stuff like that. Well, surely that's what she's talking about. But y'all know I'm a little bit strange. So y'all had to know there's going to be another like throw to it. So for me, I am talking about, I'm glad you asked. I'm talking about, you should be asking, will you be your Valentine to yourself? Yes, yourself, right? I know you think, Paris, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Why would I ask myself to be my Valentine? Why? Because I thought Valentine's Day was for lovers. I thought Valentine's Day was supposed to be shared amongst people that you love. And I thought Valentine's Day was supposed to be something that you shared with the most important person that you love. You know what I've started to learn, though, that I get deeply, deeply concerned about? I get concerned because I feel like, how do I say this? I feel like Valentine's Day is this competition that seems like it happens. And it happens with who you think you should be with, who you think would show you the most amount of attention, who you think would be socially acceptable for them to show you that type of love and that type of affection. And I get concerned because I feel like I believe that people stay even in relationships just so they can say they're with somebody on Valentine's Day. Or even let's not even talk about Valentine's Day, other holidays as well. It becomes this thing of, I'd rather be in a relationship with somebody that's not even good. Let's talk about it. It's not even good. Like, and not just, oh, sometimes relationships have up and downs. I'm talking about it ain't been good in a long time. I'm talking about, let's just go deeper. Not only is it not good and it hasn't been good in a long time, it's not been good ever. Let's just put it all the way out there. And I'm not judging. People say, oh, I hate when people that are not in a relationship talk about relationships. Let me tell y'all something about that too. I don't have to smoke cocaine in order for me to know that smoking cocaine is not good for you. Okay? I've been in relationships before. And it's really hard for people to tell me, oh, well, you don't understand. You've not been in a long-term relationship, so you can't say anything. Well, I don't think that counts. There are people who've been married for 50 years, but got beat upside the head the whole 50 years. Am I supposed to listen to them? And why couldn't somebody who's only been married for 1 year, but their spouse died unexpectedly and they had a relationship, why can't they also be wise? Let's not get into that. I'm not going to get into that. I'm sorry. I don't even know why I came up with talking about that in that moment. My point here is, it's not about me judging your relationship. I'm saying that there are people who value relationships and being with somebody so much that they devalue the relationship they should have with themselves. And it shows. I'm not going to really make this a relationship show because I even have some series where we talked about relationships and healthy relationships and what they look like. I'm not going to go into that. We just talked about loneliness. I'm not going into that. But I am going to talk about the best relationship that you should have should be with yourself. And I know it sounds cliche, but listen, there are too many people in relationships with other people, but don't even have a good relationship with themselves, don't even have a good self-image. They don't feel good about themselves, but they're in a whole relationship. And they wonder why these relationships are exhausting and or the other person being pulled on more is because if you don't feel good about yourself, you are putting that responsibility and weight on your other partner to make you feel good. It's almost like a constant cheerleading thing. Tell me you love me. Tell me how much you love me. Tell me you love me all the time. If you love me, do this for me. If you love me, do that for me. If you love me, don't talk to this person. Don't speak to anybody else. Don't see anybody else. And it becomes this like competition for you to prove constantly that you love them. And it might or might not have anything to do with what you currently are doing for them. It's because they don't feel love themselves. And therefore they don't feel love. They're pulling extra from you because they don't really get that there's supposed to be an inner job that comes from inside. And therefore they're doing what they've always done, which is pull external. I don't feel love myself. I don't know how to get to that place. I keep hearing that relationships are supposed to show you love. So I'm going to pull hard on everybody in my life, especially this person I'm in a relationship with. And let's be clear, it's not just if you're in a relationship, it's also you're going to pull on your family members, you're going to pull on your children. I think that's especially dangerous. You're going to pull on your siblings, you're going to pull on your parents. You're going to pull on your friends. It's going to become a thing where if you don't feel inner love inside, if you don't love yourself strong enough, you're going to externally pull. And what happens is you can mess up relationships and end up depleting the people around you because you don't know how to get the inner source of love that you need and that you need as an adult, right? You're not self-aware enough to realize that's your responsibility. Now, I know I just said a lot, and I know it almost seems like I am blaming you for not feeling loved. I'm not saying that. Y'all know how I feel about therapy. And to be honest with you, this is a much, much deeper topic that I can't go into all the way. But on the very surface level, the greatest relationship you should have is with yourself. And so you should love you. You should be your own Valentine. You are so concerned and worried about somebody else loving you and showing you love that you really literally don't know how to show yourself love. And I can't go into the deeps of why that is. That usually starts again from a young age, right? That's what therapy shows you. Where is that feeling of, lack coming from, right? Is it coming from deep-seated rejection? Is it coming from deep-seated orphanhood? Like, are you feeling abandoned? Is there abandonment to happen? Is there neglect? Hey, Nicole. Hey, girl. Thank you. So you really have to figure out what's underneath, what's the root to it. And we can't talk about that today because that gets really deep. But it's important for you to know. That's why I always talk about therapy. It's really important for you to do the work to figure that out. But until you figure that out, I'm not sure why you're not able to pull from inside, right? And then you end up resenting everybody around you because you feel like everybody's failing you. And y'all tell me, you don't have to say yes to me because you don't have to prove anything to me. But I want you to think about this. Have you been in a situation where you're with a spouse and you just don't feel like they're showing you enough love ever? And it's like you're always asking them to do these things and it just feels like you don't get enough of it, right? You always tell you sometimes with your kids and you feel like they're being ungrateful because they're not showing you enough love back. You with your friends, you always feel like Have you ever been the one saying, I always do for everybody. I always am considerate. I always think of everybody. Nobody thinks of me. And if you find yourself saying things like that all the time, this is going to be a hard laugh to get through because I don't think a lot of people really want to be honest about this. If you find yourself always at the end of like saying that everybody, that you give more than everybody else and you never give enough back, you never get what you put out back, then there's two things happening there. Either you are constantly around the wrong group of people, which again, yeah, I don't want to hear this gospel. You always around the wrong people, that you have responsibility in that and you need to change that. Or it's going to be because you are, um, or it's going to be because you are not taking responsibility for the inner work that you need to do for yourself. Okay. It is a thing where you're going to always feel like people are not doing enough if you don't first harness the relationship with you inside of you. If you don't have inner peace, if you don't really truly love who you see in the mirror, you will always feel unfulfilled by all of your relationships, all of them. You're going to always feel like somebody's giving you the short end of the stick all the time, all the time. Nicole, you said you used to say that. You know what? before you start my class, oh, honey, listen. And the thing about it is, a lot of people say it. A lot of people do it, and the reality is, you don't have to be a victim. And let me tell you the hard part of that. The hard part is you don't really even know that it's something you can change. This is why we have these conversations so you can get that you don't have to constantly feel beat up on. You don't have to constantly feel like you're always getting short of the stick. That's the hard feeling. That feels horrible if that's how you always feel all the time. And I understand that we've been told that, oh, well, relationships are about reciprocity, reciprocity, reciprocity. I'm saying it wrong. Let me just say it simple. Relationships are always about giving, and giving and getting, right? Like it's a fair exchange of things. But the reality of it is, you cannot go into any relationship with these unrealistic expectations, right? You can't go in saying, hey, I need you to make me feel 100% loved when you don't even 100% love yourself. I'm going to say that again. You can't go in there and have this unrealistic expectation to feel 100% love when you don't 100% love yourself. Let's talk about it. I never understood this deep need for external validation. Okay. And let me be clear. I told you I'm very transparent. I'll tell you, I was there too. I've done it before where I feel like everybody should be showing me this love. And it's this love that you see on TV and the movies. It just seems like everybody's just always so smothered with love. And I think it's so, um, I think that what happens is we start to idolize this idea of what love should look like, right? And in our mind, love looks like you running through the field all the time, always having people adoring you constantly and saying you're beautiful constantly and kissing on you constantly. And you always feeling like you are just the most happiest person. And that's not what love is. Love is literally an action word. Okay. Love is really just somebody showing you that they care about you. And there are different varying degrees of that, right? And it's great to be in a relationship that you feel that unconditional love, that people give you that is forgiving. The type of love that, oh, you don't have to worry about messing up one time and then they give up on you. No, it's a love that says, "Hey, I love you for who you are. I don't love you just because you have long hair. I don't love you because you have a small waist. I don't love you because you have a lot of money. I don't love you because what you can do for me. I don't love you for how good the sex is. I love you because I just choose to love you. Love is an action. You choose it. I hate the term falling in out of love because people believe this idea of this fairy tale thing that um that there's not action required to it. You think that, oh, I fall in love and then I will just stay in this bliss area forever. Have you guys heard of the honeymoon stage? Even if you're in a romantic relationship and it's the best relationship you've ever been to and it's wonderful and it's beautiful, you don't think they have dark days? You don't think people have moments where they can't stand each other? You don't think people have arguments? You don't think people have moments where they don't even feel like being in the same room and sometimes they know it's because of them? That happens. And so the reality is we have to change our expectations of what we expect from people because we don't really know what love is. And then we also have to really look at the relationship we have with ourselves. Do we even love ourselves enough like that, right? If you're honest, well, let me not, okay, I tell you, I can't say something to y'all, I can't say to myself. If I'm honest, there have been times where I just truly know I didn't care, that I didn't love myself fully. There was too many things that I was doing that um, very much, if I look back at it now, let me know that I didn't really love myself. And at the time, I probably didn't see it. If I really was self aware enough at the time, I probably could have been able to identify it. Um, but I do believe I've always been aware that loving myself was an inside job, right? I just sometimes didn't know how to fully love myself. Does that make sense? Um, Sorry, this one little break is gonna really get me. Um, so I get to a point where I understand that it is my responsibility to love myself, but I wasn't always sure how to make that happen 100%. Nicole, you said once you learn to love yourself, all these negative things you thought before will disappear. You know what? That is true as far as most negative thoughts. Now, depending on if you're dealing with an extreme form of depression or anxiety, you might still have negative thoughts. And like I told y'all, emotions are, and thoughts like that are fleeting and temporary. So you might have them from time to time, but you're right. Once you love yourself correctly, majority of those things will disappear. Um, I love this other part you said, your soul will go glow through you and start to see things differently and think differently for the better. Yeah, you know what? When you start to understand what love is really like, when you really start to understand how to um, really start working on your thoughts, on how you see yourself, and really start feeling yourself and really appreciating who you are and how you're made, you will start to see everything differently. Like you really will. You will start to see everything differently. And I don't think I know enough people don't really understand what that looks like. Some people think, when you say you love yourself, they think that is so prideful and they think that it is cliche. And unfortunately, people really believe that that's something that is unnecessary, or they even think they're born with it. Of course, I love myself. And I just think so many people lie to themselves. There's so many people walking around that do not love themselves. Or they'll say something like, well, I love my children more than life. Or I love, my spouse more than I even feel like breathing. And I just think, I'm sorry, I don't care for that sacrificial crap. I'm sorry, I said it. I was trying to say it in a nice way, but I just don't care for it. Yes, you should love your children unconditionally, 200% you should, and care for them and provide for them. Absolutely, you should be willing to give your life for kids. I believe that. Um, but I feel like this idea that you don't love yourself with the same intensity is crazy to me. Hi, Josco Nathan. I'm not sure who you are. Hi, thank you for coming on. But see, and even with your spouse, like people love to put that in the vows. I'll love you more than I love myself. And I get about being there and taking a covenant with somebody to be with them, and for better or worse, I believe all of that, and I wholeheartedly support that. But I just don't believe that you, in that process, stop loving yourself, or or I don't believe that you love them in lieu of yourself. I don't think that there's a competition. I think I can love me fully and love you fully. I think that there's room for both. Like people always talk about this 50-50 thing. That's crazy to me. I can love you fully. I can love me fully. I can love my child fully. I can love my siblings fully. It is all in separate lanes. It's not like I have, oh, I only have this much love and I got to desire. You get 1/16 of my love. You get another. I really like you. Or you get 1/8 of my love. You can get 1/4 of my love. It doesn't have to be that. It does not have to be that. There are different lanes for this. And I think love is a action and it's something that matures over time. So I believe that I can believe that, hey, I met you. That's what like the honeymoon phase is, you meet somebody and at first you feel all warm and fuzzy when you see butterflies, and that's wonderful. And that's great. Or when you start a new friendship, that person's great. They can do no wrong. But the longer you get to know people, after a while, people are going to rub you wrong, and people are going to do things that you don't like, and people are going to start showing their more of their less of their representative, more of truly who they are. And as long as the relationship is worth being in, you're going to have to decide what unconditional love looks like, what love requires from you, and for you guys to be in it. Um, yes, I agree. Love is sacrifice and giving. I don't believe that it is only sacrifice and giving. I do believe those are components of it. I think love does, it requires you to um, give some. Um, and to me, that's reciprocal, right? And it does require sacrifice and compromise. Compromise is another word. But I think I would like to also say that love is, to me, um, I want to use the word beneficial giving, right? Like, for example, um, I'm gonna feel like I'm in prison if love means I have to give, and it's always feeling like it's something that's taking it away from me. Like I tell my son, I give you things like I give you a nice place to stay. I make sure I give you a great opportunity education. I give you a birthday party. I give you things because not because you make me or I feel obligated to. I do that because I love you, and it makes me happy to see you happy. This makes me happy to help you out. Not that I'm obligated to do it. Um, and so if I get into a relationship, it's going to be my pleasure to do a lot of things for you because I want to see you happy. I want good things to happen for you. So it's going to be um, something I do that's going to make me feel good. Why am I saying that? Because I think we have to be careful because a lot of people think, oh, when I get with somebody, I just give until it hurts, and it doesn't matter how it makes me feel. And I don't believe that. Sorry. I believe that when I give to you, it's going to make me happy, but that's just one part of it. It's not just giving, it's not just sacrifice, it's part of it. Um, Unconditional love means that I really care about you and I want the best for you. And if I need to help you get the best, I will. But it's not because I feel obligated to, and it's not because I want to feel pain. It's because that's part of the equation, right? It's part of the back and forth. Nicole, you said that's that favoritism crap people do. I think I lost what you were talking about in that moment, Nicole, because I think I'm going back and forth for some stuff. But Joe Scott, like nothing you said was wrong. It's nothing what you said about that was wrong. I'm just giving you my idea of what the full definition of love is. I don't think it's only sacrifice and giving. I think that paints a really negative view of love. Um, you said, how do you know that you love someone? Well, I think that's a packed question. Let's talk about it. Um, how do you know you love someone? Love is, to me, again, it's an action word. And I think we have to be careful with this idea of falling into love and falling out of love. I'm talking about unconditional love because today what we're talking about is, will you be my Valentine? And to me, I don't know if you came on a little late. So, um, will you be my Valentine? I was talking about you, and meaning the biggest relationship you should be in is that's most important is relationship with yourself. And so we're talking about, do you love you enough? Before you talk about loving anybody else in a relationship, do you really truly love you? And love is you being able to appreciate yourself unconditionally. That means with the flaws. That means with the um, the disappointments. That means with the setbacks and all those things. And so that's what I was talking about. But when you talk about how do you know if you love somebody, again, I'm talking about unconditional love. And what it really means is that um, how do you know? I think you choose. You choose to love somebody. You literally choose. You can say, I love you. And what that means is that I love you no matter how horrible you think you are, no matter how inadequate you think you are, no matter how little money you think you are, no matter any of those things. It means that there are no conditions to my love, and I choose to love you. I choose to say that I want to care about you and I want to um hold you in high regards. That's my answer. I'm not sure. I'm not saying I have the only answer. I'm telling you what my answer is. Um, and then you said people can't love unconditionally. I don't want to use the word people can't love unconditionally. I will say that it's not easy. And I don't know if I've loved unconditionally in my life for sure. I would like to believe I do. But the reality is you're right. We don't probably hit the mark. We probably have silent conditions that we don't talk about. But the reality is the goal is to try to love unconditionally, right? Um, and Nicole, you say you love your kids unconditionally. Um, Again, you probably do. And I'm not gonna say you don't. I know that I thought I feel like I love my son unconditionally. But I'll be honest with you, there have been times when his behavior has not been great. And I'll be honest with you, it, I didn't stop loving him, but I do believe sometimes I got upset with him. And I believe that if he wanted to show me he loved me, and I probably said this out of my own mouth before, I feel like I said before, hey, you, in order for you to show me that you are a good kid or that you love me, that you will do right in school or you'll clean up what I tell you to do or you'll do what I tell you to do. And when you think back about, now he's older now, I think about it and I'm like, wow, did I ever make him feel like if he didn't get good grades, that I would stop loving him? Now I know that's not true, but you think about this stuff now, right? You think like, is there ever a moment where I made him feel like if he didn't do what I wanted him to do, if he didn't act how I needed him to act, that I will remove love? Never did I ever purposely did it, but I'm just being honest, right? Um, were there moments where I didn't feel like I loved him? No, I think I always loved him. I'm just saying there might not be moments where he felt it completely. He might have thought my love was not unconditional. And you just have to be honest about that, right? It's hard to say that stuff out loud, right? So it's interesting. You said no. I was talking about the favoritism people do with their kids. Oh, okay. You're right. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people do have favorites with their kids, and that's hard, right? That's super hard. I think people are not honest about that. Sometimes people do have favorites. You're not supposed to say it. It sounds hard to say, but it's just real. Sometimes you have people that you have kids or people in your life that you connect mostly with. And nobody wants to say it out loud because it sounds ugly, but I think it's true. I really do think it's true. So back to thank y'all. This is like a good exchange. I like when y'all talk back to me. Keep talking back to me. It makes me feel good because this is our platform. And this is what I want y'all to do is be able to understand how to go. So the topic here is, will you be my Valentine? And what that simply means is, do you love you more than anybody else does? And I think this whole self-sacrificial thing that I will light myself on fire in order to keep everybody warm, but I don't care that much about me, that thing is crap. And what's happening is that you're creating a generation of people that don't think they're worthy of saying, I love myself. I remember somebody said, you must be so in love with yourself, and I remember trying to disprove them, like, no, I'm not. They're like, you just seem like you're so in love with yourself. And I remember that thing used to make me feel so crazy that I used to really go out of my way to tell people or make them feel like I didn't think so highly of myself and that I wasn't in love with myself. And I had to sit back and think, that's nuts that I'm going to go out of my way to make you believe that I'm not full of myself. And really, honestly, you should be. You should be your biggest cheerleader. Honestly, you should. And now people say, oh, well, no, you need humility. Yes, but guess what? I'll say it again. I said this on the other line. I'm going to pump myself up because there might not be anybody else who does it. There's enough people who have such low self-esteem, such low self-image, and such low view of themselves that I'm sorry. I'd rather you think highly of yourself than think lowly of yourself. There are people who think so horribly of themselves that they think about committing suicide and depression, and they just think they're the lowliest of the earth. And I'd rather you think you're the highly. I can deal with you thinking, and I don't even know how to say this out loud. I can deal with you thinking too much of yourself. I don't even really know if that's my job to tell you that you're thinking too high of yourself. Matter of fact, I don't think anybody should tell anybody that because, again, it's subjective. Who am I to tell you think too highly of yourself? As long as you're not treating people wrong, as long as you're not being rude, because I think you can think 100% of yourself, really highly of yourself, and still be kind to other people. Why do people have to think it's like it has to be one or the other? Like, I can love myself and really think high of myself and not make you feel like crap. I can. So to think that you have to compromise and say, oh, well, if I really, really love people, I really have to think lowly of myself. I don't think it's true. I think everything's balanced, but I don't think you have to think that you're, dirt in order to really love people and respect people. Now, you guys might think of people like, oh, well, there's some people that think so much of this that they put everybody down. But I don't think that's the same thing. I think if you put people down, it's not because you think highly of yourself. I think that's fake. If you put people down, you feel like crap about yourself and you're faking that you think highly of yourself. So you put them down to make you feel like you're higher. But you don't really feel that good about yourself if you have to put other people down to feel good about yourself. You see what I'm saying? Remember I told you about these illusions? I see through all of that. When you got people putting other people down, they don't think highly of themselves. You don't need to put people down if you think highly of yourself. I think very highly of myself. I don't need to put you down. I've never needed to. I don't need to disrespect somebody to make me feel good about myself. It doesn't make me feel good when you suffer. It doesn't make me feel good when my enemies go through something. You can hate me, and it don't make me feel bad because your house burnt. Good because your house burnt down. That's sick to me. If somebody who called themselves my enemy, because I don't think I have any enemies, but if somebody called themselves my enemy and their child died, you think I'm gonna be able to be like, ha, 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 this is what you get? What? Like, I'm a horrible human if I feel that way. If somebody just cursed me out and then got hit by a car, like, as much as I might feel like, oh my God, I could for a second think about karma, but I literally would just be like, oh my God, like, I'm trying to make sure they're okay. You don't have to be an ugly human being, but also think highly of yourself. You don't. They don't have to be interchangeable. So I'm sorry, all of 2020, I'm here for thinking highly of yourself. I'm here for everybody loving themselves so much that everybody else can see it. I'm here for people loving themselves so fully that when they do get in any type of relationship, they are not pulling more than they need to out of somebody because they already have what they need inside. And anything that you give me is extra. Think of yourself as a cup. We always talk about you can't pull out your cup if it's empty. That's true. So I like to say this better. Instead of you can't pour out of your cup when it's empty, I like to say your cup should be so full that the extra is what you give people. And you know how you have a saucer under the cup? So that means you need to make sure you pour into your cup and fill it up so much that the extra is what you give people and your cup always stays full. So what does that mean? That means you take care of yourself, self-care, loving yourself unconditionally, making sure your cup stays full, and then the extra is what you can give out. So I feel that same way about relationships. I'm going to do the inside work. So everything in the cup, I'll make sure I keep that. That's my responsibility. It's not your responsibility. You don't have to pour into me. No, I pour into myself. I make sure that I do self-development, self-care, all the things I'm supposed to do to keep myself and my cup full. I do that. But on the outside liquid, that stuff, the overflow, that's where you can contribute. So guess what? When I do feel a little depleted, I can get some of that outside stuff and put it into my cup. But to be honest with you, most of the time I should stay filled up because that's my responsibility. And then all the extra is extra and it's great. I'm so happy because I get all this extra love from people around. But I'm never feeling depleted because I have the inner stuff is me. And that's why I'm sitting here reminding you guys, like, you have to take care of the inner stuff. Otherwise, you will always be pulling from every relationship you're in, thinking they're not doing enough because you really don't know how to get the inner stuff yourself. Okay? So I hope that made sense. Let me read some of your comments. Josco Nathan, you said human love has conditions. I do believe that we like I said before, I do believe we put conditions on stuff sometimes, and I don't think that people think they do, but I think we do. We have to do better about that. But I do believe that there is a pursuit of unconditional love. I do believe people think they do have that. I mean, even like I said, I believe I love my son unconditionally, and I believe I love my family unconditionally. I think I can get mad with them sometimes, but I don't think I stop loving them. You said, I think my thing is I wear my heart on the sleeve a lot, Nicole. Yeah, you know what? A lot of times people do that. But you know what I feel again? It's not anything wrong to love people and show them you love them. But remember, Nicole, I say it's all about boundaries. So, that's a whole nother story. You said now you think of yourself more than I did before. And that's good. And that's where growth is that you start to love you. And when you start to love you more fully, then you can love everybody else more fuller. You can love everybody else better because you love you first. And when you have the inside stuff done, you can give more of yourself and not feel depleted, right? And then you're not giving more and that's another thing. Sometimes we give too much because we feel depleted, and we feel like maybe if I give you more, you'll give me more back. And that's not how it's supposed to be. When you're full of your own love, then you give how much you really want to give, and you don't end up over giving. Therefore, you don't feel played, you don't feel used. You say, you know what? If I gave to you, I gave it freely, and I don't expect anything back. That's how you know you're giving on the right level. When you start giving and you don't expect any appreciation. Like I remember I told somebody before, hey, I was like, my son used to hold the door open at the mall for women, and sometimes they won't say thank you, they won't whatever. I used to get frustrated with it, but I remember somebody said, well, I wouldn't make my child hold the door open, and if they don't say thank you, and I had to think about it, but then I said no, because I don't want my son to believe that he's owed something for being kind. My job is to teach him to be kind. Yes, in my mind, I would say thank you. So whenever somebody does it for me, I say thank you. But at the same time, I don't want him to believe a good deed is only done if somebody's appreciative of it. Meaning that you doing something good should be enough. And if somebody says thank you, then that's extra. Vice versa. If I do something for you, I'm not doing it for you to be able to be grateful. I'm doing it because it's what something I wanted to do. So if you're not grateful, then okay, that's what your choice to do. I just know, I'll just keep that in my head, but it won't be something that made me feel so horrible about it, right? Um, let's see, Nicole, you Josco, you said Nicole, put your heart away. I don't want you to tell her to put her heart away. I don't think you put it away. I think again, boundaries. It's all about boundaries, understanding what you should do, what you versus what you shouldn't do, and also making sure that you um, have the right expectations of what you're doing for. Um, so I think this has been a good conversation, guys. I mean, the summary of what we're talking about is just loving yourself enough where you're not feeling done. Um, you're not always feeling like people pulling that they're not giving you enough. You're always feeling like you're on the wrong side of something. I want you guys to just value you more. This Valentine's Day, do something nice for yourself. Take yourself out to dinner. Um, sit, do something you want. I talked about figuring out what things you like to do. Um, I don't think you will start to understand that if you work on loving yourself more fully, you won't always feel like people are doing you wrong because you'll realize that you filled in most of the space and anything everybody else is doing is extra. And so then what it feels like to be loved fully is for you to fully love yourself, and then you have people around you giving you appropriate amount of extra love. And so now that the love is radiating, you have an overflow of love because now you are fulfilled inside by yourself, and you have extra outside of you. That's the beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Versus you being depleted inside, pulling, trying to get outside love and inside to be enough to fill in the inside of this cup. And there's no amount of outside of love that's going to fill up your inner cup. It just isn't. So let's start doing the inner work so we don't feel so depleted all the time and sad. I don't want you being sad. So I won't see you guys to Tuesday because today's Thursday. And so that means Valentine's Day is going to be on Monday. So here I go. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Will you be my Valentine? I hope so, because I'll be yours. And also be your own Valentine. I want you to love to learn on you. Do something kind. Let me know what you're going to do for yourself. Everybody put something in the comment that you're going to do for yourself that's kind, something that you're going to do. It doesn't have to require money. It doesn't have to require you going to buy something, but just something you're going to do for yourself. Something that, that'll make you feel happy and good. It's important. It's important that you love on you. Okay? It's really important. And don't put conditions on your love. Let your love on you be unconditional. I don't care if you dropped out of school 7 times. I don't care if you been divorced 3 times. I don't care any of that stuff. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to be you. And you can't expect somebody else to love you unconditionally if you don't love you unconditionally first. And that's on period. So I hope you guys got something from this. Please share. My goal is for everybody to feel good and to start understanding how these things, how you can control them. Like, stop being a victim of life. You don't have to be. When you understand the mindset, when you understand how you move, when you understand how you should move, you'll understand that you have more control and you don't feel as like out of sync. You don't feel like always taken advantage of. You don't always feel like a victim. And that's my goal, to just to shift your perspective, like one conversation at a time. So, guys, have an amazing weekend. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. But happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, I'll see you guys Tuesday. Ciao. Bye. Yes, I will see you in class, Nicole. All right, bye, guys. Oh, and I didn't say, oh my God, right before Valentine's Day, I didn't say you are enough. You are enough. If any other day of the year you need to know you are enough, on Valentine's Day. And Josco, I do an emotional intelligence class. We just finished with my first round of that. It's been amazing. I had some amazing students. I was offering that. Um, well, yeah, I think I offered it from Black Friday. But I have another class coming out soon. So I will be announcing that. So stay tuned. But yes, she's talking about my emotional intelligence class. It's been amazing. Amazing. I will give you guys like a summary of how that went. I think it was awesome. I definitely will be doing it again. But yeah, that's the class she's talking about. All right, guys. Bye. Have a good weekend. And thank you, Jusco, for coming on. I've never seen you on. So please make sure you are subscribed and make sure that you like it and comment and share and come back. We always have great topics.